Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel, The Grim Reader. I come to you today from my little apartment in the middle of downtown Wiesbaden, Germany. Apologies for noises you'll hear in the background. They're working on this big building. I am going to try and do my best to get some images of the building because it is interesting. But it might be a different video. I might just collect the video now and make a video when I get home. But I wanted to come on here to just give you an update on everything because the trip's interesting. I'm sort of having, it feels different from all the other trips, even the ones when I took when I was teaching, if you remember, they were sort of dominated by being completely overwhelmed with the work and getting very tired and sort of being very sort of super focused on the work and then spending the rest of the time sort of decompressing from the work. And of course, this trip is all different because my sister and her friends came up with this term, eternal weekend. It's always the weekend when you're retired, which is a funny term because, I mean, in a way it's sort of true. Your whole sense of being changes when you're not tied to work, which is in general, it's all good, but it is a change. And so what I'm experiencing right now, so the trip has been fascinating in that it hasn't been easy. There have been a lot of downs, a lot of negatives have happened. I mean, nothing, everything's fine now. Everything has worked out. But even now, for example, of the many lists of things that have sort of not so great things have happened in this apartment, which is, I do like it, in this fantastic building. It's in a building that is an Art Deco, Art Nouveau building that contains a sort of a Roman, they call it Irish too, because there's some Irish guy who did, it's a whole structure of baths and saunas, which are all closed until August, so no one can go in there. Plus the fact that it's all, you have to be without clothing to go in there, which I sort of understand that. But, and even that area, I would love to see it because it has all the tiles of the Art Deco, which I will try and get pictures of the hallway. My apartment is not anything special in that sense, except that it's in this building that is special. And so getting back to the problems, one of the problems was the bed is unsleepably awful for not one, but at least two reasons. It's just very, very old and ancient, and it was never a good bed, just covered with foam, just a piece of cheap foam. But then as I was sort of detecting why it's so awful, I found a lot of stains that are just disgusting, and it's just not worthy of being in this apartment. That one thing I'll say, I don't think it really matters. He's never going to find out. So I thought initially that the person I was talking to, the couple, were the owners, but they're not the owners. They're people who make their living administrating apartments as part of their work. The actual owner is a very interesting fellow. Not that I'm ever going to talk to him or anything. He's a huge hedge fund guy, but he's sort of like a good hedge fund guy because he gives all his money to the greens and to new energy. So very interesting fellow. And the reason I know that he actually has been here is that all the books on there are obviously someone who's studied management and clean energy and money, financial stuff. They all seem like they're very much from his library. So he has some connection to this. He is the owner. And I mean, it's just so strange. Why do I know this? How did I figure it out? Because I got a little card saying that they're going to come in to replace the water counting thing next Tuesday, and sort of to make sure that someone's here at that time, which, because I've had such a sort of bad time with this administrator, because when I told him about the bed, he was very sort of unhelpful and whiny and complained to me about complaining, which, that's just bad, unprofessional behavior on his part. The bed is ridiculously awful, and anyone who sees it, if I were to show you how bad it is, you'd be like, yeah, you have a clear case. And even the people that I booked the room with have given me a little bit of money back, a refund, somewhat. But then they did this thing where they billed him for the refund, and he was mad at me for that. I'm like, anyway, so you can see what I mean about problems. But one thing that's happened because of all this administrative stuff is that it's made me feel more like I live here. Like this is what you have to deal with on an everyday basis, which has made it feel more like home. And also, I'm seeing my sister more. We have a routine when we go out to eat and talk about everything. And what I can tell is it's changing even to the point of my accent a little bit. I don't feel as American anymore. I feel less American already, even in a few weeks. And it doesn't mean that I feel particularly German or anything. But I can sort of tell the English. I'm sort of wavering now between saying lift and elevator. The English is coming back in terms of English, or even Australian English, and not American English, which is, I mean, it's a little too early for that to really be happening. But I've been here since today's the 9th, and I've came on the 18th of May. So it hasn't even been a month yet, but I'm going to be here for another month. So isn't that interesting? And I wonder if it's because I'm in eternal weekend. I'm not working. I'm not sort of doing my German teaching stuff. So I'm just kind of like reading and walking around and taking things in and eating delicious food. You can hear the knocking. That's someone. The whole building is in sort of eternal stuff needing to be worked on. So that's really interesting. Let me tell you a little bit about books I'm reading. I'm not going to be very structured, but we'll see. And I think today might be the day where I actually venture out to the best secondhand bookstore, which is very close by. I wanted to go there yesterday, but of course Monday is often a rest day for stores, not all of them, but bakeries and cafes. And this one too had a rest day, so it wasn't open. The book I'm really getting into, and it's really fun, is Effinges by Gabrielle Turgid, which came out in NY. It was the NY edition, and of course I went and got it in German, and it's great. It's a fun read. It's very sort of the saga of these families. She's done a great job. It is of the two people that they say it's like Mann and Fontana. For me, it is definitely more Fontana than Mann because it's not as cerebral, I guess is the word I'm looking for. I don't know, but it's still a really fun read, and I'm loving it. And I'm still listening to Alice Adams on the audio by Booth Tarkington, which is good on the one hand and unacceptably racist on the other hand. So that's just a bit of pill to swallow when you're listening to it. I want to see the movie with Katharine Hepburn to see how they managed that. I'm sure they kind of toned it down a little bit. He's not just sort of randomly dismissive. He's kind of honing in on dehumanizing, which is sad. The other book I just got, and it's based on I heard about this on the German radio station, Deutsche Welle, no, Deutschlandfunk. So it's kind of like, I don't know what it's like comparative to maybe Voice of America, but not really. They do a lot of culture stuff that I like. And the lady reviewed this book and said, we should all read it. It's so fantastic. Florian Illies writes a lot of biographies. There's quite a few of the Manns too, which I'm always wary of, but I am a bit of a man freak. Anyway, this is about the romantic painter Caspar David Friedrich. There's one of his pictures on there, and maybe it is the pictures they're sort of describing in the beginning where they're on the boat. The magic of silence. Zauber der Stille sounds better in German. Magic of silence. Oh, that sounds okay in English. And it gets really, really wonderful reviews from everyone. And everyone says it's just a wonderful story, and it takes you through his life. And I don't know much about him, and I love his paintings. They're very familiar to German people. So I'm going to read this at some point. Am I reading anything else? I had this idea that I wanted to read a fantasy. So I started Brandon Anderson, Mistborn. I didn't like it that much. It was okay, but didn't really fit the bill. I think I wanted a more sort of female-centric fantasy or something. I don't know. I just had this idea that it'd be nice to read something totally escapist alongside this stuff that's still kind of connected to Germany, where I am. Other than that, I'm just enjoying my time here. Let me switch it around and show you how I've Cathified my space. I bought my magazine that is all about sort of, I think it's funny that it's called Flow. Sounds like a different flow, but it's got all kinds of stuff about creativity, letting go, blah, blah, blah. And then I did buy the German magazine Philosophy. That's kind of my level of philosophy, is a magazine level. And of course, KI is AI in German. artificial intelligence. Teacher, therapist, friend. K-I-N-I, A-I-N-I. I like the picture. And it's pretty good. I mean, just for sort of short stuff. And yeah, I've prettified my space with a few things. I got into the unicorn stuff. Have a magical day. At this big drugstore, they had there's 18 of these that you can collect if you're 5 or over 60. Don't worry, I'm not going to collect them all. But I think they are kind of cute and they weren't that expensive and it makes me happy, so leave me alone. And I'm drinking a sort of healthy juice. It's like they have so many healthy juices here, quasi-healthy because they are full. I think there's quite a bit of sugar in there still, so not that healthy. And yeah, this is my little abode. I basically live out here because of the bed being what it is, and I love the building. And at some point I'll give you views of outside too. But that's just a little update. I think that's all I'll give you for now. Trying to get back into the flow of making videos. And yeah, I hope everyone is having a great time. And I'm fascinated by the fact that I'm already sort of, what am I? Like, I'm not American anymore. I am. I mean, I guess, was I ever American? That's the question, isn't it? Oh, and another thing, let me go back. The final thing I'll just touch on is the cat situation at home has been another sad, well, sort of not sad, but sorgniserregend. It's been a bit of a worry. So we had this nice fellow come in to feed the cats, and we paid a fair amount of money. But poor Shirley, with her diabetes, had a setback because he was trying to put the needle in, and apparently she wasn't eating. So anyway, something happened, and she got very sick. She had one of these bouts that can happen with sugar. That's how it is in German. They call it sugar diabetes. So she either had, I can never understand if she had too little or too much of something in her blood. She had to go into the vet while he had to bring her in. So she was all creeped out by that. And she stayed there for a while, which was not cheap. They did a lot of tests and just watching over her to make sure she was okay because she was very sick for a while. Now she's okay and Bill is home. Bill just brought her to the vet yesterday and we got the bill. But that's okay. That's what you do. It was almost as much as Mr. T's leg off. He got his leg amputated, as you may remember. So I feel so much better that he's in charge of our cats, but it does make me realize how it will be hard for us to travel for long distances ever again together. And so we'll have to sort of figure something out. We have a family of cats. They are a little bit high maintenance, as pets can be. And it's just for our own sort of sanity. You don't like leaving them because things can happen. And anyway, so I just wanted to say everything is good on the Shirley front. And I will be so happy to get back to them all. But right now I'm still sort of, okay, it's fine being here, even though I think part of the fact that so much has happened to occupy my mind is I haven't had a lot of time to sort of just sit here and miss things, which I think is good. It's like there's a undercurrent of life stuff happening here that keeps me occupied, however quiet and weekendy it is. And like the whole situation with Germany, where every day I have to go and navigate, putting the bottles back and getting new water. It's like I feel like I have to. I mean, it's like first world version of going to the well, but it's not the well. It's the supermarket. It's a stupid analogy. But even doing things like that make you feel rather German, is what I'm getting at. And I just walk more. Just my whole way of living here is quite different than in America. I think the main thing that I miss, just right now at least, is my yard, the backyard, the sort of the rural aspects of living in a small town as opposed to the urban aspects, which are also great because I have all these wonderful food and coffee places outside my door. I think I'm used to having the yard more. And so, yeah, the green, even though there's a lot of trees around here, and I could walk to a park, but that's a little bit further away. Anyway, it has turned into me babbling about stuff, and I will post this. I've had nose issues where it's been kind of itchy at night. I hope that's not a sign of anything bad because I'm sleeping on the sofa here, which is way better than the bed, but it's probably still not great. But it's okay for my back and everything. I'm quite comfortable. But I will be happy to move to a hotel with an actual bed. C'est la vie, right? Anyway, so I have this little red spot on my nose, but that's okay. Talk to you later. Hope everyone's doing fine. I'm sorry I've been a little bit not posting, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.